Speaking to the UK Science Advisory Council, an independent body which advises government scientists and ministers, Professor John Beddington said the world is facing increasing demand for food, water and energy. There's growing pressure on the world's resources due to rising world population and climate change.
The Climate Change Committee has made a recommendation to government that we should cut our emissions by 80% below the 1990 levels by 2050. This is shooting at the target, but to try to ensure as best we can, and it's not just us, it's how this actually works out through international negotiations, but the hope is that we can cut global emissions by 50 to 60%. And it may be that we need to do more, and this is an area where we need to look at the evidence. But what is absolutely critical is that we shoot for this. This is not the time to actually say, maybe we should shoot for maybe 3 degrees or 4 degrees rise. The potential devastation and the lack of knowledge of the potential effects of these higher levels is the higher the level, the more the uncertainty, the more the dangers of positive feedback and real problems there.
Professor Beddington was examining the key scientific challenges that the UK government is facing. He said a major issue would be how to produce more food with less available water and energy, with an increased competition for land, whilst at the same time emitting fewer greenhouse gases.
Energy demand going to go up by 50% by 2030, food demand going up by 50%, water demand up by 30%, and climate change. We cannot ignore the intimate connections of these areas, and they are not all exhaustive. There's infectious diseases, and many of the things, migration issues, all of which we're doing. But these core problems are there, and they're core for scientific advisors, not just in the UK, but the science community elsewhere. And I believe we ignore these interactions at our peril. It is enormously important that in trying to address food production, we don't present problems for climate change.
He also spoke about the need for an integrated international approach to solving the looming problems, and said the UK government was already taking action, starting with energy.
The first one is the one the Foresight programme is addressing. The second one is the future demand for water. The third is the energy demand. And can we meet these demands while still mitigating and adapting to climate change? These, I would argue, are the absolutely crucial scientific and innovation challenges for both our society and world society in the future.
The Chief Scientific Officer said food security had now moved up the British government agenda, and he was hopeful new ways could be found to feed the world.
I think the thing that starts happening, the food